Hey, thanks for joining us today. We are tracking storms across Texas this afternoon. Now, we are tracking storms across a good portion of the U.S. We're going all the way up to the north, and we are tracking storms all the way down to the south as well. So a little bit of everyone getting storms right now. Here, let's make this a little bit bigger so you can see this entire screen. There we go. Alrighty, I see a few people jumping on right now. Let's see, who do we have on? Put where you're watching from. A few people on Twitter, a few people on Facebook as well. We may be having some troubles on YouTube. What's going on, YouTube? Maybe we are not streaming on YouTube right now. Either way, we'll give you the forecast. So storms ongoing right now. We told you about this earlier today. You're going to have that larger hail down to the south. You're going to see still a good hail chance anywhere from Cincinnati all the way to Atlanta. And there's your hail forecast for today. You can see that we've got a few yellows mixing in here from Atlanta to Cincinnati, but really the biggest hail is going to be down into Texas. So let's get into it right now. Let's start in Nashville, and then we'll move our way up to the north, and then I have a whole forecast for Texas. I just don't want to leave anyone else out here. So we'll get down to Texas here in just a few minutes. But let's take a look at those storms. We've got a lot of people checking in from Houston. Jeremy from Texas, thanks for joining us. Yes, this forecast is all about Texas because I have a breakdown for Houston, San Antonio, Austin, and DFW. So let's get into it. Let me get access to my radar. I don't know why sometimes the radar goes down and then it goes back up, so give it just a minute to load back up here. But yes, we are watching for storms down in Texas right now. They're firing right now, and I think that the bulk of this activity up to the north and out to the east. Now, this is the biggest time for this activity. You go down to Texas, your activity is really going to peak later on this afternoon and into the late evening hours. We have timelines for Texas that stretch all the way through early tomorrow morning. So yes, you could be dealing with this through the overnight hours tonight. There's your Severe Thunderstorm Watch, highlighted there in pink. This goes until 7 o'clock Eastern time up in Ohio. I think this timeline stays between about 7 and 9 o'clock tonight. 5 o'clock here in Nashville, so just a few more hours left on that for these storms in Nashville. But then if we go down into Texas, I think that this Severe Thunderstorm Watch goes until 8, 9 o'clock for most of the places in Texas. Now, it's going to differ depending on where you are across the state. Yeah, here 10 o'clock. And I bet Houston's is much later than that. 8 o'clock in Houston. I'm a bit surprised about that. I expected Houston's to be a bit later. But yeah, here you go. Here's your storms that are tracking through Ohio right now. Look at this storm out in Cambridge. This is a pretty impressive one. We've got golf ball size hail is what it's warned for. 50-mile-per-hour wind gust. That goes until 5 o'clock. So we've got 40 more minutes on that storm. So that's 5 o'clock Eastern time. What you're going to see from these storms is a mix of quarter-size hail and potentially up to ping pong to golf ball size hail in some of these areas like Ohio. Tennessee does not look like it has a good chance for that large hail, but maybe up to ping pong golf ball size hail. Where's the biggest hail going to be at today? Yes, Texas. That is correct. I could hear you. I could hear you through the streaming service. I could hear you say Texas. All right, let's take a look at what we've seen so far today. Out in Waco, local storm report for less than the size of a quarter, nickel-size hail. John Choquette, one of our producers and forensic meteorologist here at Hail Trace, he likes to say this is pocket change. We've got the nickels, the pennies, the dimes, and the quarters. And that's what we're seeing right now. So this is what we saw actually in Waco about 40 minutes ago. Yeah, there you go. Nickel-sized hail again from the Waco Emergency Management Office. Anything bigger than that? No, we're just sitting at quarters out in Waco. But that's not the only thing that's going on in Texas right now. We've got a line of storms that just moved through Waco. DFW, you're in the clear right now. However, we're going to see multiple rounds of storms, and we'll get into your forecast here in just a minute. So we could see more storms up in Dallas later on tonight. You've got one up in the northwestern side of Fort Worth. Maybe that'll do something within the next hour. Check out your local storm report here. What does this say? Nichols once again. All right, so storms are pretty quiet right now, still severe warned. So let's go down to Houston, because I know we've got someone watching from Houston. Let's see what have we seen so far today on Houston. This local storm report up near Montgomery, half-inch size hail. Oh, why are we reporting these? Let's see. Oh, there we go. There's a quarter out in Houston. All right, quarter size hail in Kingwood. That's Harris County. That was just reported about 30 minutes ago. Some really small hail with these storms. Another half-inch report. Now, this severe thunderstorm warning up in the northeast side of Houston goes until 3:45 this afternoon, so we've got another 20 minutes on this. Warned for quarters and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, again in the northeastern side of the city. So I want to give you a look at what's going on right now in Texas, and then we will move to what do we expect in the next few hours, because this is not the only chance for storms today. You're going to have another round on top of this. You go a little bit closer to San Antonio and you're getting 1-inch size hail. This is kind of like halfway between San Antonio and Houston, so not in a terribly populated area. There you go, that's what's happening right now. I've got two clusters that we're watching. We've got one up near I-35, just outside of Waco, or maybe inside of Waco right now, to the south and to the east of Waco, and then another in the northeastern side of Houston. But let's get to that forecast. What are we expecting for the rest of the evening here? Maybe. There we go. There we go. There's your hail forecast today. The farther you go up to the north, the smaller those hailstones get. The more you go down into the south, what did we say yesterday? Everything is bigger down in Texas, including those hail sizes and the potential for hail. So we have up to tennis ball, probably larger than that, hail down in places like Austin, San Antonio, Junction City. Now I have a lower risk the farther west that you go. You go out to Junction, you go out to San Angelo, that risk goes down for hail. It's still possible, but I think it's just a lower storm risk out there. Houston, I think that we could see up to golf ball size hail today. Lufkin, maybe a little bit larger than that. Waco, we've already seen some quarters, but I do think that those hailstones will get larger later on today. Softball size hail, all in all, what do I think the largest hailstone reported today will be? I think that we could get up to softball size. You're going to have some high wind as well. Main high wind risk will be up to the north, but it's possible the farther south that you go. We'll just have to watch it here. And that tornado risk does include Texas as well, mainly to the south of Dallas, including Austin and Rock Springs, Jackson, Nashville, Louisville, all included in this tornado risk. I'm going to fast forward here, and I'm going to try to get down into Texas to your hour-by-hour forecast for each city. Chris is asking about San Antonio. I've got San Antonio on the forecast here. We've got a few more graphics to go, and then we'll get to San Antonio. Kingwood and Houston got the hail. Are you saying that you've already gotten hail, or you're waiting for it, like got milk? Jeremy says, Copper's Cove. Okay, yesterday, Copper's Cove got some major hailstones. We had a 4.5-inch hailstone reported out at Copper's Cove. That is the size of a grapefruit. That is a massive hailstone. So maybe that's a good place to be today as well. Here's a look at your hour-by-hour future radar down in Texas. Again, a reminder on the storm risk here. Baseball-size hail or larger, 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts, and the isolated tornado risk. So here we go. You can see that we're starting out pretty isolated at first, but then we go into clustered storm formation. So all of these storms are kind of clustered together. It gets really messy. It's hard to get large hail out of this, but especially on some of these south ones in places like Houston, maybe even in San Antonio, I think that we could get some really large hail from this. Now this will continue through the evening hours tonight and into the late night hours, especially the farther south that you go, the later those storms could linger around. And I have your city by city here. Dallas and Fort Worth, you're in the moderate risk, level 2 on a scale of 5 today. Waco, a little bit higher, level 3 on a scale of 5. Austin, I think that Austin has the best chance for those larger hailstones today. I put you in the extreme, high to extreme risk here. San Angelo, the farther west that you go, the lower that risk is going to be. San Antonio, however, I think you have a really good risk to see those large hailstones today. San Antonio and Houston are going to be, those are my top large city to get hit today. Taking a look at what's happening right now, 62 out in Dallas. We've got storms to the east. You can see storms that are coming in to Waco and Austin as well, go down to the south into San Antonio. You've got a storm out to the north and west. However, I don't know if that's going to hit the city or not. And then we've been talking about those storms to the north and east of Houston. It's warm right now, 81 in Houston as we speak. So let's get into those city by city forecasts. I told you earlier that we have Dallas in the forecast here. Who asked about Dallas? Someone did. Jeremy asked about Texas. I don't think you asked about DFW, but I'm giving it to you anyway. Here's Dallas. Ooh, we got a lot of cities in here. Your storm timeline between now and midnight. What's your max hail size here? Up to 1.5 inches, maybe golf ball size hail, 1.5 inches to 1.75 inches. So still large hail expected. We've got a pretty good chance for anything over the size of 1/4, but your chance goes pretty down once you go over that golf ball size hailstone. What's your timeline here? I told you that you have storms moving through right now. You're going to have another round later on this evening and into the late night hours. So I have from now into midnight. Now let's move down to Austin, Texas. Storms once again moving to the north and east of you right now, but that risk continues as we head into the overnight hours tonight. This is not the only chance that you have for storms. These are ongoing right around your evening commute, and even as you go out maybe for dinner this evening, you're still going to have storms around. So not only do you have that risk right now for storms, you're going to have that all the way into the late night hours right past sundown. Finally, that severe risk will go down a little bit, but you could have some lingering moisture all the way until 1 o'clock this morning. Now that could impact your evening plans, so make sure that you have multiple ways to get those storm alerts even through this evening. Also, multiple rounds of storms are going to increase the flooding risk in Austin, San Antonio, and Houston, so watch for those flooded roadways. You know the drill here, turn around, don't drown. Max forecasted hail size in Austin, 2.5 inches or greater. I think that that's possible. That's where we get, in this area, we start to get into some of those larger hailstones. Your chance for 1 inch size hail, I think we've already gotten that today, just to the north of you guys. And then golf ball size hail, I think you still have a pretty good chance to see. San Antonio here, max forecasted hail size, 2.5 inches. Chance for anything over the size of 1/4, pretty high. Your timeline here, you've got storms, as I mentioned, to the northwest right now. I don't know if those will come into the city or if they're going to stay to the north of you. But you will have another chance later on today. Here we go, 5 o'clock. This model wants to bring in a storm directly into the city at 5 o'clock. We'll continue to see this just over and over again, contributing to the flood risk right here through this evening. And then finally, this will pass to the south, targeting the southern side of the city, and then places like Floresville, as we head into the late night hours tonight. Finally, you're done with all of that moisture by about 12 to 2 a.m. in the early morning hours of Saturday. Alrighty, moving on. Who asked for Houston? I made a special graphic for Houston today. Jeremy had asked for Houston. We've got San Antonio coming up next. Another request for Houston. Chris is asking about San Antonio. I think that's right after this graphic. So let's get into it. Here's your Houston timeline. I have any time between now and 3 a.m. I know that is a long period to see storms, but you're going to see the model wants to pull in round after round after round in Houston. Your max hail size here, I think that you're going right around that 1.75 inch zones that we're talking about golf balls in this area. Chance for anything larger than 1/4, pretty good chance. Chance for anything larger than a golf ball. Your risk goes down at that time. So here we are right now. We have storms to the north and east of you, 3:30 on your Friday afternoon. Is this going to continue through your evening commute? It sure will. You'll probably see rain, just kind of hit and miss around Houston for your evening commute, but the bulk of this will come in after your evening commute, closer to dinner time, or maybe even by the time that you're headed to bed. Here we are, 7 o'clock, it's dinner time, you have storms. Somewhere in Houston, you will most likely have storms. Again, this will continue. Even as you're getting ready to go to bed this evening, you're still going to have storms in your area. Finally, through the late night hours tonight, between about 12 and 3 o'clock tomorrow morning, we finally start to see some of that moisture clear out. Here we are, 3 o'clock. Most of this should be to your south and east. And where is San Antonio's? Did I already do it? Let's see. Oh, it was right before Houston. I said it was right after, but you know what? I'll show it just again anyway. Here you go for San Antonio tonight. You've got storms to your north right now that will slowly move to the south of you, but it's going to take some time. So we will have rain somewhere around San Antonio or this county all the way through the evening commute, through dinner time, and then finally as you're about to get ready for bed, maybe even early tomorrow morning, you're finally seeing those storms dip to the south. Hail size in this area, I think that we could see some pretty large hail, maybe greater than 2 inches in this area. The chance for 1-inch hail, I put that in the high category. The chance for anything larger than a golf ball, also in the high category for today. There you go, there's your Texas breakdown. I told you that this entire forecast was going to be centered around Texas. We have a lot of people jumping in from Copper's Cove, Kingwood and Houston. Lots of Houston people in here right now. But right now, here, let's go back to the radar. Here we go. This is Killeen, Texas, which happened to have a pretty impressive storm yesterday. We like to say, meteorologists like to say, the trend is your friend. And oftentimes what we see is that if something happens once, it has a likelihood to happen again. So if we have really strong storms yesterday, we've got another forecast for strong storms today, we're likely to see that same trend. Okay, we're likely to see what happened yesterday happen again today, especially if there are very similar conditions set up. So yesterday in this area, we got some really large hail up to the size of a grapefruit, as I mentioned earlier, which makes me think, especially with the conditions that we have today, it's possible to see it today. Now, that's not always true, but oftentimes it is. The trend is your friend. We like to say that quite often. Here's your severe thunderstorm warning. It's warned for a massive area here. Anywhere from Waco all the way down to Killeen, Texas. Let's see. Pull up my, oh yeah, this is 2 warnings put together. So this is warned for 1-inch size hail, quarter-size hail, and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Almost 56,000 people included in this warning right here. And that southern warning, so this is technically 2 different warnings here. That southern warning, very similar, just for quarter-size hail right now. Let's see, do we have anything larger than a quarter that's been reported in Texas so far? I don't see anything. Down on the northern side of Houston, nothing larger than a quarter at the moment. We've got a few other severe thunderstorm warnings out there, so let's go out to Houston real quick. I think that this is also warned for quarter-size hail. It is 1-inch and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. This warning goes until 3:45. And let's go to the west of Houston. LaGrange, am I saying that correctly? Fayetteville, Round Top, 1-inch size hail, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. And then what about Columbus? A little bit of rotation with this storm. Oftentimes you can see these rotation markers. That just means that they're organizing. That doesn't always mean that it's tornadic, and I don't think that this is by any means. Quarter-size hail, 60-mile-per-hour wind gust for Hillcrest, Eagle Lake, and Columbus as well. Keep going to the west here. We've got 2 storms to the west of San Antonio. So this first one in Bourne, hope I'm saying that correctly. Whoo, something larger than a quarter. $half size hail for Bourne, 60-mile-per-hour wind gust. That goes until 4 o'clock. We've got another 20 minutes on that severe thunderstorm warning. And last but not least, we've got Junction. And ping pong ball size hail. Okay, we're starting to see those hail sizes go up. Ping pong ball size hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. This severe thunderstorm warning goes until 4 o'clock. And you know what I think about these storms? I think that because these are a bit more isolated, look at the difference between these storms up near Waco. They're all clustered together. It's hard for these storms to get organized whenever they're so clustered. This just makes for a really messy setup. But if we can get these isolated storms in here, those are going to be your impressive hailers. So these are the ones you have to keep an eye out for. And we've already seen that today. Ping pong ball size hail potential from this storm out near Junction, however, smaller whenever these storms start to get clustered. They start to get in each other's way. So that's what we're watching for. We were watching for these isolated storms right there. And I think there's your Texas update. Anything in Dallas right now? Nothing impressive. Any questions that I've missed? Already got some hail. How large was that hail? And if I remember, is this in the Houston area? Yeah, we saw a few hail reports. Do you have anything larger than these quarter-size reports? I assume that you're talking about this northern storm that you say you've already got some hail. Thank you for that report, by the way. Quarter-size hail is what we've gotten from this storm already in the Kingwood area. Yep, this is a quarter-size as well. What about this one? Smaller than the size of a quarter. 3/4 of an inch. 302 is whenever that was reported. So we'll keep an eye on it. We have 3 meteorologists. We have 4 people mapping these storms right now and keeping an eye on it. We will have meteorologists staffed 24/7 this weekend watching these storms. So not only do we have multiple pairs of eyes on these storms right now, but we also will have people overnight. We'll have meteorologists tomorrow. We'll have meteorologists the next day and the next day. So we have a lot of people mapping these storms right now. Most of these maps are updated and at hailtrace.com, so you can either get set up. Here, let me give you some information. There you go. So if you want to get set up with a subscription, you can call us at 855-334-4245, or you can email us at info@hailtrace.com, or even go over to our website, hailtrace.com. You can see a little bit more information about those storm maps at hailtrace.com, or you can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. I have a schedule today to make sure that all of these are updated with the latest storm updates. So if something big happens, you'll know about it on social media. You also can get updates on the app, and if you need help setting that up, give us a call and we can help you set up your notifications on the app. You can get notified if there is a large hail report in your area, and our meteorologists are really good about keeping that updated. Here's a good question. How will Texarkana be? Let's take a look. All right, Texarkana, kind of in between that small to large hail zone. So we're right in between that $half size to maybe ping pong ball size hail. I have a pretty low risk for Shreveport. You guys are just right on the edge of the risk up in Texarkana. Let's get you a timeline. There you go. We'll zoom right into Texarkana. There we go. So here we are, about 3 o'clock. Yeah, it's like 3:45 at this point. This afternoon, you guys are pretty dry. You've got all of those storms down to the south. That's what we've seen according to radar. I think this model is picking it up pretty decently. As we head into the afternoon and evening hours, you may see more storms form up to the north. So you may see a redevelopment from this boundary layer right here. So it looks like most, or the bulk, of these storms are going to be sitting to the south of you, right along I-49, into Spring Hill, El Dorado, Harlton. Let's see, do we have any storms that come into Texarkana? Late tonight, you could have some storms coming your way, so it may sound loud with that lightning and thunder. However, I still think with this, look how clustered all of these storms are. I think that you're going to see a pretty low chance for hail right here. So best timing will be late tonight, anytime between about 6 and 10 o'clock tonight. Low chance for large hail. And then everything tracks to the south, and you're waking up tomorrow morning dry. You can get outside and enjoy your Saturday. Go back to your Dallas or Temple camera, Temple radar right here. Is this a new storm report? I don't know if this is new or not. 335, pretty new. Dime-sized hail reported in Eddy, Texas. So nothing too impressive quite yet. Any other questions this afternoon? Dominic asking for College Station. One moment, I can pull that up. Let's see. You guys are testing if I can tell where College Station is on here. I can't ever get it to pull up on like the city names. I knew it was by Bryan. There we go. It's just not, so it doesn't say College Station on here, but here we go, Bryan, Texas. Yeah, you have some storms right now down to the south of you. Probably got a good amount of lightning with this, maybe some thunder, but you do not have a severe thunderstorm warning right now. You are included in a severe thunderstorm watch, so that is here highlighted in pink. That goes until 8 o'clock this evening, includes College Station, Houston, Pasadena, and Sugar Land, Texas. Over 3 million people, 3.6 million people included in this severe thunderstorm watch. So College Station, this is not your only chance for rain right here. You're going to see another round of storms as we head into the evening hours. I would still expect right around dinner time to still have that severe threat coming in. That's why your severe thunderstorm watch goes all the way until 8 o'clock this evening. So I would still expect, as we head into the dinner time, evening hours, to have that severe threat. What did I say for the hail risk for College Station? Let's take a look at that. Go down to Dallas. You guys are in the pretty large hail. You can get golf ball, 2 inches at College Station. I put you in the high category, that red category there. Pretty good chance for hail this evening. That was Dominic. Dominic asked for a College Station. So there you go, there's your College Station forecast. You're in the red risk for 2-inch size hail, and then your risk level is in the high category highlighted by these yellow markers, or excuse me, red markers right here. You're gonna have several rounds of rain this evening, so that's also going to contribute to the flood risk. You're also included in a tornado and a high wind risk for these storms today. Potential tornado is also possible. Alrighty, and I think that I have answered all of your questions here, so I'm going to jump off of here, but you guys know the drill. We'll be back on later on this evening to give you guys updates. So thanks for joining us today. And another question about Chicago. You guys crack me up with these Chicago and Denver questions. You guys are not in the risk today. Chicago, Denver. You guys have a while until you get hail. I know you're waiting for it. But thanks for hopping on today, even though you're not in the risk. We appreciate you hopping on. Alrighty, well, thanks for joining us today. I'm meteorologist Taylor Cox. We will be back in a few hours, so hit that follow button, and we will see you guys here in a few hours for your next radar update.